what we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to graph linear equations, but I'm going to do something a little bit different to make the videos a little smaller. I'm going to break it up into two. So the first part of the video, lesson 25, part A, let's just call this part A. You need to make sure that all of this gets into your notes. Okay. I can graph linear equations. That means that it's going to make a straight line when I graph it, but this video will not deal with any of the graphing. We just need to learn how to get parts from this style of linear equation. This is one of the many styles. It's called a slope-intercept form, and it looks like this. The y is all by itself. See this y? There's nothing on that side of the equal sign except the y. The next thing that you notice is that there's a number in front of this x. That number in front of the x is what we call the slope. So 1/2 we would say is our slope. Then you will notice that there's another number that's at the end of the equation is right after the x. That second number we actually call the y-intercept, and we say it's the next term. And do you remember in previous lessons where I said, hey, always make sure that you include the sign in front of the number? So this isn't a 3, we're going to call that a -3. There's no negative sign here, so we're going to call this a positive 1/2. This is our slope, this is our y-intercept. And we will talk about why these two numbers are so important in the next video. Now, the next thing I want you to put into your notes, let me actually go through and type it up so it's a little bit clearer. I just want these in the notes so it'll make more sense. Use the y-intercept first, then use the slope to move. So we'll put that right there. Okay, let me change the color there. Let me make that a nice blue. And then rise equals, it's a very famous saying. Almost every math teacher I know uses it. Not rise. Slope equals the rise over the run. And I just want this in your notes also because it's just good to have on file. The rise would be your up and down movement, and the run is your left and right movement. Go ahead and put those arrows in there too, and I'll make those red while I'm here. Okay, so you're completely done with notes. Now let's just take the last couple of minutes here to make sure that you get the big idea from this lesson. Can you find the slope and can you find the y-intercept? So here's some examples that you don't need in your notes. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to find all of our slopes first. The slope is always the number in front of x. So that's our slope in red. That's 1/2. This is our slope here, negative 1/2. This is our slope here, 1/4 x. Well, not x, but just 1/4. This is negative 1/5. This is 2/5. This is -2. Now let's go back and let's actually use green to circle our y-intercepts. This would be my y-intercept, -5. This would be my y-intercept, -1, -2, +4, -1, and +4. So in green is our y-intercept, and in red is our slope. So how about the last part of this video, hit pause, identify all of your slopes, and then identify all of your y-intercepts and hit play when you're ready, and we'll see how you did. That's the slope. This is the y-intercept. This is the slope. And what's happening here is there's nothing there, so it's the same as +0. So your y-intercept is actually 0. And number 12, I'm guessing you probably had possibly at least a question. What would go in front of that x? Well, do you remember when we solved equations, if there was no number in front of it, especially in the distribution, we would put a 1 in front of that x. And so our slope is 1, and the y-intercept is 5. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to tell you how you can use the slope and the y-intercept to graph all of these equations.